Hey there, and welcome to the Girl Means Business podcast, the show that's all about helping photographers just like you build a thriving business without sacrificing your sanity. I'm your host, Kendra Swalls, a former teacher turned full-time photographer and marketing coach, here to fill your earbuds each week with practical tips, real-life stories, and a whole lot of encouragement. So if you're ready to dive in, let's get to it because this girl means business. Hey friend, and welcome back to the Girl Means Business podcast. So a few days ago, I put a poll out on my Instagram stories asking for your opinion on social media for your business. I said, do you love it? Do you hate it? Or do you just tolerate it? And I asked this question because I was in a Facebook group for photographers where someone had posted, I don't even remember what the actual post was referencing, honestly, but it was something along the lines of asking for help with their Instagram account, or they had a question about social media. I don't remember the exact question. It's not really relevant. What is relevant is the comment section of this post. So as I'm reading through it to see what other people are giving advice on the poster's question, I'm noticing that there was an overwhelming number of people who were saying things like, I can't stand social media. If I didn't need it for my business, I wouldn't be on it. Social media has really changed in the last few years. It's not what it used to be. It's so hard to get traction on social media these days. Like there's an overwhelming majority were negative towards social media. And so I put out the poll because I know how I feel about social media. I know what my journey with social media has been. I know kind of how it feels based off of the people I talk to within my coaching clients and other photographer and small business friends. But I wanted to see kind of what the masses were saying. And to no surprise, the results were almost 100% said they either hate it or they tolerate it. Very few said that they loved it. And if I was being honest, I went back and I looked at who all voted. The ones who said they loved it are actually not photographers that were following. There were maybe like a spattern, like 2 or 3 that are photographers who are just killing it on social media. But most of the people who voted that they loved it are actually either content creators or people in other industries that are just following me on my page for whether they've been here for a while or whatever. And so the majority of photographers who answered my poll on that story overwhelmingly said they either hate it or they tolerate it. So I wanted to do a whole episode because if you haven't listened for a while or you haven't listened to some of the episodes where I talk about kind of the state of social media right now, I want to get into that. But then I also want to give you some encouragement on the idea that you can build a successful business in photography or in anything really without needing to rely heavily on social media. Now, here's where I'm going to pause and give a little bit of a disclaimer here. This is my asterisk for the episode. I'm not saying that you should completely abandon social media. That's not what the point of this episode is. That is not the point of any of my marketing conversations. I'm not saying that social media is this huge evil that we need to all get rid of. What I am saying is that we need to rethink the emphasis that we are putting onto social media in our businesses. So I don't want you to listen to this episode and think that I am just like, let's get rid of all of it. That's not the point. At some point, you're going to need to utilize social media in some form. What I am suggesting, and we'll dive into more in this episode, is reframing the role that social media has in your business, because it needs to be utilized in a way that is beneficial, but also sustainable and is real to who you are. If you are not somebody who loves being on camera or dancing in videos or doing talking head videos or creating carousels in Canva, if that's not where you find happiness and joy or you don't want to hire somebody to do it, then let's find a new way to make it work in your business so that you can still utilize social media, but you're not relying so heavily on that one particular platform. So that is my disclaimer. I'm not saying that we need to get rid of social media completely. We just need to reframe it and restructure how it fits into our marketing strategy. Okay, so let's back up, I don't know, a year or two ago. I don't remember exactly when this kind of light bulb moment occurred, but it was in the middle of recording a podcast episode. And I was talking about social media, and I was kind of doing a breakdown of what percentage of my marketing was being spent in different areas versus like the results I was getting. So I kind of was doing like here's where I'm spending my marketing efforts. And then later on in the episode, I was like, this is where my clients are coming to me from. This is where I'm getting the most leads, blah, blah, blah. The light bulb moment that I had was that I was stating on this podcast that I spent probably 60 to 65% of my marketing efforts on social media at the time. Again, this was probably at least a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago. So 65% of my marketing efforts was being sent on social media. Then fast forward to later in the episode where I state that only about 5%, maybe 5% of my clients were actually coming to me from social media. And when I said that out loud, I had this like realization of like, well, crap, I'm putting out 65% of an effort for a 5% return. If I put that into like monetary terms and I said, you're going to spend $65 to make $5, that math doesn't work. That's not a good return on investment. And so there's more that we put into our business than just financially. We're putting in time, we're putting in effort, we're putting in energy, we're putting in brain power, all the things. And so if I'm putting in 65% for a 5% or less return on investment, it was not adding up. And that is when I was like, okay, I need to restructure my marketing game plan. My pie chart needs to adjust a little bit here. How can I make the most of my time? Because spending all this time on social media was not working for me. And there are years, and I can go back and I can't even remember how many of these episodes I did on this podcast. It's been a long time, but there are going to be times in my business where I would set goals based off of Instagram growth. There have been years where one of my main goals was to grow my Instagram follower count to a certain number, or was to increase my, engagement rate by a certain percent. And when I look back at that, I think, God, that was so dumb. It was vanity metrics that I was putting so much effort towards. And ultimately, it resulted in me having less bookings in those years because my energy was spent in the wrong place. And so I tell you that so that if you're in a position where you're like, yeah, I'm putting all this energy and effort into my social media and I'm feeling drained and I don't love it. What am I doing wrong? Well, it's because you are putting your emphasis in the wrong place. So let's rewind a little further and let's talk about how we got to where we are today. So social media, Facebook, it started before Facebook. You had MySpace, you had all these other things that were coming out. But really the social media revolution, if you will, happened with the onset of Facebook becoming more of a public platform, not just used for college students or school students. It was used for the public masses. And this is where we started seeing business accounts pop up. We started seeing people posting about their multi-level marketing or their small business they'd started. And I don't remember exactly the year that it kind of turned. I would say it was around the 2010-ish age. I know when I officially kind of launched the photography business, Paisley Lane Photography was about 2011, 2012. And I created a Facebook page for the photography business, thinking like, I'll create this page and all these people are going to see it and they're going to come. And I will say that like getting clients off of Facebook back then was a whole lot easier than it is now. This was pre-Facebook groups. This was literally, you just had a wall, you had your personal page or you had a business page, and you could just put out content and it would get sent out to everybody that followed you. And yeah, like it got me business and it was great for my photography business in the beginning. I was not super consistent in posting. The posts were terrible. The photography was terrible. Let's just be real. I was in my first year or two of business. I didn't know what I was doing. It was all bad, but it did get me some clients. Well, then came along Instagram. And Instagram being the visual platform, I was like, oh, this is even better. Like it makes way more sense for me to be over there than on Facebook, where it was still very text heavy, and start putting out my images. So I got on Instagram, and I don't know when that was, 2014, maybe 2013. I can't remember exactly when it came out. And I think I started using it personally first. And then I was like, I'm going to switch this over to my business account. I started posting my sessions. I started, posting photos from sessions with little cute captions, all the things. And I would get traction because when social media first started, it was like the wild, wild west. Like it was just this like gold rush of content, and people were being shown your content chronologically, and it was a new shiny thing. So there were lots of people using it, and it was easier to get noticed, get seen, and then ultimately build up a following. Now, here's where it gets a little bit tricky. Over the last, I would say 10 years, Instagram and Facebook and now TikTok and Twitter and Threads and LinkedIn and all the things, they have all realized that they are a business first and foremost, okay? We forget this. Social media platforms are a business. They are not a charity. They are not this, nonprofit that's out there just doing good in the world. They are a company looking to make money. And so when all of these businesses started realizing that they could utilize social media to get in front of a much wider audience, the social media platforms had to go, ooh, this is an opportunity for us to make money off of these small businesses and large businesses too, because they started utilizing as well. So they introduced the idea of sponsored post ads, ultimately a pay to play kind of situation. And from there, it's just kind of spiraled into what we have today, which is not only has there been a huge flood of people to the platforms. I mean, I don't know more than maybe a handful of people that are under the age of 60 that aren't on some kind of platform. Like even my mom has Instagram and Facebook. She doesn't use it very often, but she has it. And I know of maybe one other person my age that doesn't have any social media at all. And that is because like the majority of people on planet Earth are utilizing social media because it does have a lot of benefits to it. That's why it's been such this like kind of angel devil situation of like it has its good things, but it also has its negative things. As a business owner, it is becoming increasingly difficult for your content, your brand, your account to get noticed or seen. And a lot of times we want to blame the algorithm. We want to say like the algorithm this, the algorithm that. It's not necessarily the algorithm. It is just this, it's a numbers game. If you have millions and millions of people not only consuming content, but creating content, it's an incredibly crowded space. I've used this example several times, but it's like standing in Times Square or at what's the super busy Union Station or whatever, like the busiest train station, in the world, or the busiest airport in the world, and like trying to get someone's attention when there is so much going on. You've got flashing lights, you've got announcements, you've got billboards, you've got street vendors, you've got shops for them to go into, you've got a million other people roaming around, you've got cars driving by, you have all these things going on, and you're standing on the sidewalk just kind of like hoping someone pays attention to the sign that you're holding up. That is what social media is like for anybody, not even just small businesses, but just any user of social media. That's what it's like, unless you put in money to be on the billboard, or you pay money for a megaphone that amplifies your voice and your message to the larger crowd. Social media has become the red ocean. And if you're not familiar with that term, there's the terms red ocean, blue ocean in marketing. Red ocean signifies a niche, an industry, a place, a platform, a marketing strategy, whatever, that has become so oversaturated that there's no space. Whereas a blue ocean is where everything is still wide open, clear blue waters. There's room for you to kind of make a mark. So social media has become the red ocean of marketing. So again, like I said in the beginning, I'm not saying that you need to turn away from social media completely, but I wanted to give you an understanding of why it's become not the best place to get a return on your investment. Now, if you are wanting to build relationships with an audience that you currently have, social media can be great for building relationships. It's great for trust building. It's great for connecting. It's great for building authority. Is it great for booking clients? Not necessarily. You can use Facebook groups. You can use your Instagram stories, your Facebook stories, your DMs. All those things can be great places to build connections with your audience. But if you are going into using social media as a tool to book out your business, it may not be the best option for you right now. And yes, you're probably thinking, Kendra, I have seen some incredible photographers on social media who are just killing it. They have a huge following. They are posting all the time. They're getting lots of engagement, all the things. The reason why is probably one of two things. One, either social media is something that they are really good at and that they really enjoy. They enjoy creating content. They enjoy making videos. They enjoy showing up on their stories. They enjoy commenting and engaging with followers. That is something that they like putting effort and energy to, and it's likely getting them results. But they're probably spending a lot of time behind the scenes doing that, or this is kind of like a 1A, or they've hired somebody to help them do those things so that they don't have to spend all their time doing it. Or option number two is they're putting in all the work and they're doing all the things to be out there, but it's not actually benefiting their business. Large numbers of following, lots of engagement does not always equal successful business. It does not always equal more clients. It is a smokescreen. It is an illusion. Okay? It's an illusion that you are doing better than you're doing. It is a status symbol. And there are some people out there, I was one of them for a while back when I had all these goals to grow my Instagram following. There's all these people out there who are chasing this vision, this idea. They want to present to the world that they are super successful. And the way that they can do that is by having a large following, is by having a very consistent presence on social media, is by having lots of engagement.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Imagine this. It's a Wednesday morning. You've just finished listening to a podcast episode, maybe even this one, and your head is swirling with so many new ideas for your business. But at the same time, you're feeling a little overwhelmed and confused on what actually you need to be focusing on, or if these new ideas you have are even worthwhile. Now imagine that in the midst of your overwhelm and confusion, you can pick up your phone and directly message your personal marketing coach to get clarity, feedback, and inspiration to help you know exactly what's going to keep you on target to grow your unique photography business. Well, the good news is that's exactly what you're going to be able to do very soon inside of my newest offer, The Greenhouse. The Greenhouse is a personalized coaching membership that allows you direct access to me as your marketing coach for your business, along with a community of other photographers there to cheer you on, support you, and be with you every step of the way. Now, if you are just looking for quick fixes, viral hacks, or another online course that you'll probably never finish, then this is not the place for you. But if you are tired of feeling like you're doing everything on your own, you're craving real support, community, and clear direction in your business, then you belong inside the greenhouse. However, the founding member launch is going to be very short window of time and very exclusive. So if this is something that sounds like what you need in your business, I would love for you to join the waitlist so that you get early access along with some exclusive bonuses. So head down to the show notes, click the link, and get signed up. I cannot wait to see you inside the greenhouse when the doors open soon. That does not always equal a successful business. So just keep that in mind when you're looking on social media and you see these accounts who have all of these followers and who look like they're just doing amazing. We don't see the back end of that. We don't see the reality. We see the fake reality they want us to see. So don't compare your business, don't compare your success, don't compare your social media to what someone else is doing or accomplishing, because you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. They might be paying tons of money every month for someone to create that content for them. They may be paying a lot of money every month for someone to go and engage online for them. They might be paying for people to engage with them. Or they could be posting and creating and doing all the things on their own and have a huge following and have a big engagement, but their calendar is empty because they're not actually converting those people into buying clients, paying clients. So don't let that comparison game get to you. Okay, so let's get into kind of the strategy part here. If social media is going to start taking a back seat in your business. So if you've been putting in 65% and you're like, I'm going to cut that down to 20% or 15%, what are you going to fill the rest of that space with? Well, one, I want you to look at where are your clients actually coming to you from? That is where you're going to be putting in more of your effort. If you are looking at this going, most of my clients find me or come to me because of referrals from past clients, then let's step up the referral game. Let's start really emphasizing getting client testimonials, putting client testimonials out everywhere that we can, having a great referral program, sending out, emails and information and content to our past clients to encourage them to send out to their family and friends to book sessions. How can we really bump that up? If you're saying to me, okay, I get some referrals, but a lot of my clients really find me because of Google searches. Well, then let's bump up the SEO. Let's start getting really good at blogging. Let's start getting really good at knowing and understanding our analytics and our keywords and looking at where our traffic's coming from and creating an online presence that can include some social media where we really get found and discovered for more select keywords or more specific searches. If you're telling me that a lot of your clients come to you from one particular vendor referral that you have, a partnership that you have, or a connection that you have, then let's focus on that. Let's focus on networking. Let's focus on building relationships within our community. Or maybe you're like, hey, I've gotten to where I can send out an email to my email list and I'll fill up my mini sessions, or I'll get bookings from that. Let's build up and ramp up our email marketing strategy. So if you're looking at where your clients are coming from, and if you're not tracking that, you really should be. The easiest way to do that is to put a little drop-down menu on your contact form where it asks ask the person filling it out, how did you find me? They do this all the time. Every time I fill out a form, I feel like it asks me, or I placed an order the other day for some cushion covers or pillowcase covers for our couch cushions. And they asked me in my order form, how did you hear about me? And so having that on your contact form is a great way to track that. I use HoneyBook. I love HoneyBook. It has been one of the best tools for my business ever. If you are looking for a tool to help you organize your clients and your kind of client management system, I highly encourage you to check out HoneyBook. I have a discount link down in the show notes. You can grab that and check it out. But one of the things I love about HoneyBook is it allows me to track that. I can put that into my contact form, but then it also helps me to kind of break it down in the report section so that I can go look and see, okay, last year in 2024, where did the majority of my clients say that they found me from? I don't have to go back through every single inquiry and kind of keep track myself or, kind of guess the percentages. I can actually go pull a report that tells me exactly where my clients found me from. And so I can look and see, okay, going forward into this next year, into 2025 or going into 2026, wherever we are when you're listening to this, what do I need to be putting my efforts towards? If they're not finding me on social media, are they finding me from these other places? And that's where I need to put the majority of my effort into for my marketing. So while social media is a part of our marketing toolkits, and it will probably always be a part of our marketing toolkits because it is a great way to get information out to a large group of people. It is a good way for new people to kind of find you and discover you. It is also a great way to kind of show like proof of life, as they call it. Like if someone is searching for a photographer and they find you on Google, they might then go see what your social media presence is like. So it is helpful to have that kind of upkept in the background of your business. But if you are feeling very overwhelmed, if you're feeling like, I just don't want to do social media anymore, then I hope that this has encouraged you to know that you're not alone. There's a lot of people who feel just like you based on the poll that I've done, based on what I'm seeing in conversations and on social media and Facebook groups, based on conversations I'm having with people in public or, in person. You're not alone. But B, there are other ways to market your business that can be as successful or even more successful than social media. You just have to figure out where your priorities lie, because you can't be giving 100% to all these different marketing efforts. You have to know which one's going to bring you the biggest return on investment, with investment meaning monetary or time and energy investment, and put your focus there, and then let everything else kind of fill in the blanks. So you don't want to be like, I am 100% doing SEO and nothing else. That's not what I'm saying either. It needs to be like 60% is SEO because that's where most of my clients are coming from. But then I'm going to fill the other 40% with these other pieces. I'm going to fill the other 40% with a little bit of social media, a little bit of email, a little bit of networking, a little bit of collaborations. Okay, I'm going to start kind of filling in those holes. Nothing should be 100%, but the majority of your effort should go towards what is working in your business right now. And then consistently or constantly be watching that. If you're putting in 65% for SEO, but then you look at 6 months in, you're like, well, but it's really, I'm not getting any more leads from that than I was 6 months ago. It's kind of stayed steady. Then let's shift our focus and say, okay, let's try putting it towards referrals and past client engagement and interactions. See if that doesn't make a difference. So your percentage levels, your pie chart is ever changing and shifting and evolving. But this is your permission slip from me to you to tell you that if you are feeling overwhelmed and frustrated with social media, it's okay to let that piece of the pie get a little bit smaller when it comes to your marketing efforts. All right, thank you so much for tuning in this week. I hope this episode gave you a little bit of motivation, inspiration, along with some kind of valuable tips and advice you can go and implement in your business right away. That's my goal with every episode, but this one in particular for sure had a little bit of a mix of both. So again, thank you so much for being here and listening. If you found this episode helpful, I would love for you to go and leave me a review over on Apple Podcast or on any podcast platform you're listening to this on. Those reviews are incredibly helpful in not only getting my content, this podcast, out to more people, but it just gives people a good perspective and a good idea of what they can expect when they come to the podcast. So take a few moments, go leave me a quick review. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you again so much, and I will see you back here next week, same time, same place.